You know, of course, about the contract that Steve Young signed on this past Monday with the Los Angeles Express. 43 years in duration, a total of $40 million, a fascinating financial structure. Martin Wyatt of our owned and operated station KGO in San Francisco had an opportunity to talk to Steve later this week after the Express arrived in Oakland. Here's a look at that.
First question that most fans want to know, how have you reacted to the amount of money that from one day to the next day being a multi-millionaire? How's it affect you and the people around you?
Well, I think it's really difficult. I think I'm a pretty sensitive person to those kind of things, and it was very, still tough to try to react to it. And the only way I can even find a way to feel good about it is to feel like I can go ahead and help a lot of other people this way. Selfishly, I could never do this. I'd have to just walk away and say, oh, nah, I can't do this, I'll do something else. But the only way I can really sort of put in my mind in the right perspective is that I can use this to help many, many other people, and hopefully I can rectify that in my mind. It's been something that's taken some used to, because getting used to, because it's a big change, not only the money, but just the whole atmosphere of your life. I had a lot of comfort zones at BYU and things that were going on.
What about your teammates? I mean, that certainly had to be a concern of yours.
Well, that's still a concern. I really do feel like if I don't feel like I'm having a good impact or something isn't working out well, then maybe I shouldn't be doing it. This is team sport. This isn't tennis. This isn't golf. This is something you got to get along with your teammates with and be successful. And so, I'm just out there going to give it a try. And if it doesn't work out, then I'll feel good about walking away from it because I gave my best shot. But right now it's something that I'm really concerned about.
The pressure to perform is always great on a quarterback because win or lose, you're going to either get maybe too much credit or too much blame. And the amount of money you make, maybe the highest paid guy in professional sports possibly, that's got to be a lot more pressure on you to perform and to do it real fast.
There's a tremendous amount of pressure, and I think in a lot of ways it's overwhelming to a point that you're not, even myself, a confident person that I am, have to start wondering, well, wait a second, what do I need to be doing here? What are my capabilities? And so I'm trying to work those things through right now, and hopefully we'll come to some to grips with it myself, so that as soon as I do, then I can just throw everything else aside and all the pressure that I feel outside and just put just do it internally. But right now I'm working with myself, trying to get it all straightened out.
Do you think being a deeply religious man, that it'll help you keep it in perspective?
It'll always be in perspective, but it's a amount of what I really want in my life. And I think that to a point you want to be successful, you want to take a challenge, but many times there are things that you just can't do. You try your best, and that's all that I will do. That's all I'll ever try to do. And so the religion will it will make me always keep perspective on it all and make sure that I don't get away from my basic values. And I think that in a lot of ways that's what's being, it's very difficult right now, is I'm not sure that I'm following my basic values. And so I'm trying to rectify all that in my mind right now too.
One interesting note for any of you who may not follow college football carefully and therefore may not know a great deal about Steve Young. He's not just a quarterback in the technician sense. He's an outstanding athlete. This is a guy who was one of the fastest players on his team and had over 100 yards rushing in some games in which he passed for 300 or 400 yards. So unlike some other quarterbacks who are sheer technicians, this is a terrific athlete in addition to being an outstanding technician. Gil Brandt of the Dallas Cowboys was quoted this past fall as calling Steve Young the most accurate passer he'd ever seen.